this what I want to say, that crossing over with the ancestry, those that crossed over with the ancestry, those 6 million people that came over with the ancestry, some of them jumped overboard, mid suicide, because they didn't want to go over to America, because some of them were psychic enough to know that the American people would treat them like animals and dogs. So our ancestors jumped overboard. Six, they were psychic and spiritual enough to know they was going into the devil den. They was going into, and I want to share this with you too. You know, when you deal with religion, you find out that the African religion is the religion that still sustain us today. They have put a spin on it, but those people that our ancestors, they always deal with God. They didn't deal with the Jesus concept. They deal with God and the elements. Even the Native Americans deal more with God or the wind or the water. They didn't never deal with a man called Jesus. They dealt more with the God concept and Ra. And when you go to Egypt, all the religions come out of Egyptian. Now, when you deal with that, the ancestry said that a lot of stuff was taken out, and then when you come from the Roman Catholic Church, when you come from the Pentecostal Church, all of that is part of what's come from Egypt. Now, they was in Africa. The Catholic Church had blacks worshiping a statue before Jesus came, and after Jesus got here, they started worshiping Jesus. So when you started looking out, people ain't scared of knowledge. Our ancestors said they're gonna give us knowledge on religion, and I'm waiting to get the knowledge that they're gonna tell me, where I can submit it to people. I say. So crossing over with the ancestors going to bring us into a new level for 2015, physically and mentally. Now, what blew my mind was the ancestors told me that even Islam is not the religion that Islam and Christianity is one of the early religions. It is. I didn't know that. And they said that the oldest religion is voodoo, voodoo is the oldest religion which comes from Africa, and they said this religion is the original religion that we as blacks been running from, and it belongs to us. Working of the spirits. Now I won't scare nobody when I say voodoo and hoodoo. Working of the spirits. Our ancestors that boarded the board, they shackled and put them, and some women was pregnant, and some they jumped overboard, and the man didn't have a chance to kill them. Them that was fighting, they killed and threw them overboard. But 6 million jumped overboard. They didn't want to come to America because they had an insight of what was going on in America. And those that came, the 6 million that got here, some of them didn't make it because they was raped, cut, killed, and they slept with hogs and dogs and put with cows. So we had a hard struggle. But each and every one is on the back of our ancestors. We're on the back of our loved ones. We're still on the back of our ancestors. When you talk about crossing over, we're crossing over to a new perspective. East, west, north, and south. Yes. Well, 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 the ones that jumped off, they were spiritual enough to know that coming to America would be detrimental to them, and they didn't want their kids raised up in that environment. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but one thing, there's the other ones that chose to come. There's
Now,
some that chose to jump, and some chose to come.
well, those chose to come. They was on a mission to change.
That's what I'm talking about.
They was
That's
on a
what I wanna
mission.
hear.
They was on a mission to change. I want to say this: the black man built America with his own hands. So when we got here, we taught economics. We taught agriculture. And they gave us theology. We took theology and made psychology out of it. See, the theology they gave us supposed to lock us in. We took the same theology they gave us, and we made psychology out of it. And we did agriculture. We did education. We did the whole gamut of things as ancestors. So we built the country, our ancestors. I'm standing on the back, and you standing on the back, and every black American is standing on the back of our ancestors who built this country. Now, let me put a swing. After we got here, our women worked in the kitchen and was nannies for the babies. Now, after that got so far, coming into this century, you got 95% of black males in jail. It's more black males and women in jail that was in slavery back in the slavery time. This many blacks wasn't in jail. Now, let me get it spin. Now, blacks are in jail because they are afraid of black men. There was a law made where 3 blacks couldn't congregate on the corner down south. If you was on the corner and you was more than 3, you was working. Okay?
Yeah.
And slavery, we was working in the fields. That's got athlete. So we didn't need to work in the fields no more. What I'm going to do with all these slaves down in Mississippi, down in Tunica, down in Mount Bowles, I'm going to put them on I'm going to create a law. I don't want them to vote. So I create a law where they'll go to jail, and I got 5 men going to jail. So they come before the judge. The judge said, I want you to work 3 years, and you work your sentence off. So that was, see, the whole slavery mentality was about economics. It was about somebody to pick the cotton, somebody to do the corn, it was about somebody to cut the sugar cane, somebody to get to the back out the field. All that, what slavery was all about. The slavery down south was the white man gold, and the white man, the black man was his horse or his claim to fame. What's that?
Okay.
So the strongest black men come from Africa, our ancestors. They breeded them. What messed up some of the white women, that they pulled them in, and that's how the race got mixed, because the white man always had a bed wench. That means he had a black woman out in the field that was in the house that he was going with the white and the black woman. The white woman and the black woman was fighting because the white woman knew her husband was going with the black woman that was in the kitchen cooking, but he wouldn't let the white wife say nothing to her, because when she got a problem, she go directly to master. See? And when she said something, master slapped her down. The white woman said, leave her alone. That's my nigga. So that's the kind of thing that we went through on building this country. So the psychology of the black man was, the white man said, I'm going to give him theology, and I'm going to make him bow, Jesus, Jesus, and all that. They gave us theology, but out of theology rose psychology. Okay? And psychology was that kept us afloat up to today. Now, we had the Uncle Toms, the Chicken Georges. We had the Net Turners. We had the blacks that hated white folks. And then that long come Malcolm, Dr. King, Paul Laurence Dunbar, Roosevelt, all those, and Booker T. Washington, all this come out of the psychology, out of the psychology that we rose out, that when they gave us theology, out of theology come the psychology of schools and colleges. Some people have never been to all black schools. And some people today have never seen a black business operated by blacks. Now we have the sand blacks. They call them Arabs. They call them sand niggers. But what I'm saying, they coming up. The Jews left the black community. Now we have the Arabs. We have the Indians. We have everybody in our neighborhood taking care of business but us. So what I'm saying to you, the ancestors come, they're going to make a change. If you notice, the change is slowly coming within your children, your children's children, your grandchildren, and we are second generation, third generation, fourth generation, sixth generation. We're on the back of our ancestors. Slavery was...
Can I ask you a question? What the Africans that jumped off, they were so wise to jump off, what would they have to tell us Africans here in America after we've gone through all that 300 years, 400 years of suffering? What would they be able to tell us?
This is what they got to... Let me tell you something. All the 6,000 Africans that jumped overboard coming to America, because of the curse, they sacrificed themselves as being the gods. So the storms and the flood, if you notice, all the places, North Carolina, South Carolina, all the places where those storms come, it come right up the way where they dropped off slaves. The slaves that gave their life, that sacrificed their life, is in the spirit of us, in the spirit of our children, to come to make havoc, to turn this thing around. The spirit of Martin Luther King, the spirit of Malcolm, was the spirit of our ancestors. If you notice, if you look at Dr. King, when you go to Kenya, you see people look just like Dr. King. So out of that spirit, if you go over to Nairobi, you see people look like Malcolm. So, but see, the psychology of the Christianity and the theology they gave us was to lock us in. When Malcolm went to Mecca, he found out there was white Muslims and black Muslims. It was Islam. He found out Islam. Now, when you talk about Christianity as an ancestor and Islam, you're talking about early religion. You're not talking about old religion. Now, all these religions assimilate from Egypt, from their ancestors in Egypt. And they took some out, put in the Bible. They took some out and put in the Quran. So the ancestors, the thing wrong with the Christianity of today, that the African know it wasn't Jesus. It was God, Ra, the Sun God. They didn't never accept Jesus. They didn't never accept Muhammad. Okay? Those are two religions they're the same when you really look at them. See, and that's what blows my mind. So what kept the slaves alive, they worshiped the god of the sun, the god of the moon, and that was coming from the ancestry. So the psychology that the Europeans gave us was Christianity and Islam. And out of Islam come the psychology, out of Christianity come the psychology of survive. So So when they gave us the Christianity, they gave us the theology. Out of theology comes psychology. Out of psychology comes anthropology, and as it comes that we will be able to man ourselves. So now, what's going on? The ancestor said there is a reawakening, and the ancestor told me there's going to be 3 earthquakes in 2015, and it's going to wake the people up. Now, that's what they told me. There's going to be 3 earthquakes. They didn't say what it was going to. It's going to be 3 earthquakes in 2015, and it's going to change the people mindset. All this killing, all this money. You're going to get a different spirit, and everything's going to slow down. By the way, the ancestor told me that would be flying object. In Ohio last night and night before last, they seen flying objects, UFOs. They seen it in Washington. They seen it in Ohio, Illinois. They seen it over in South Carolina, Virginia. This is on record. So some of the prophecy, and I get my prophecy directly from the ancestor. So some of the prophecy that was given to me by the ancestor. I say. So the prophecy they given me was about the new world, the new person. Now, what I'm talking about? All your life you had theology, and he's gonna turn it around to psychology, okay? And he's all gonna move from psychology to economics, and gonna move the ancestry that died, that I would say sacrificed themselves. They found out that they don't die. Let me tell you something. We talking about death. They talking about transition. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Their spirit was, if I jump off of this ship, I'm gonna leave my body. They have learned to astral travel. Okay? So they came over to America, but they come back. They was in the spirit. Now let me tell you something. They traveled to America and watched what went on and come back and told they told the witch doctors, they told the voodoo priestess when they went in the hut and did their spirit, they told them what was happening in America. What? So you had other leaders that were selling slaves, refused to sell slaves back to the Europeans because the Europeans were treating them bad. So it's another level. Now we had people that was from Africa could astral travel automatically. So all those that left, they know that they was going to leave their body, but they had to put their body down, but they still moving through the storms and the flood. If you notice, for the last 3 years, we've been having 5 tornadoes at once. We've been having tornadoes back to back. We've been having hurricane 1, 2, 3. We've been having earthquakes. Then we'd have volcanoes. And they said that the answer to that would be 3 earthquakes, 3 volcanoes. And volcanoes, I don't know if they're going to be in the Midwest, East, but I don't know if it's going to be in China, but when that comes, that's going to signal the change for 2015. What I'm saying, the ancestor tonight is very spiritual and very clear on where we're going and what's going to happen to the world. Now, they already said, and tomorrow I'm gonna do a YouTube show about what they gave me. I got it wrote down. And I'm going to go session and read it, go over it, and learn it, because I got to learn what they gave me. I wrote it all down. And they're talking about, they told me 8. They talked about church. They talked about economic. They talked about psychology, anthropology, agriculture. They went through the whole thing with me and said, that's ours. Can't nobody take economic, that's ours. Can't nobody take ecology, that's ours. Can't nobody take the medical field, that's ours. And I didn't understand. We build America. America wasn't built by white folks. It was built by black folks. So if you build it, it belongs to you. It belongs to you. If it belongs to you, you're supposed to take authority of it. See what I'm saying? When you talk about the medicine that the pharmaceutical people get, they go to the bush country. They go to the truck and get it and make medicine up and scratch it. That the cure for Ebola virus is in Africa and in tobacco. Blows my mind. The ancestors say it's right there before our face. And it's a mucus down in the body by inhaling a certain dust. Okay? And it's a European, it's not an African, it's a European thing. It's something that they was testing over there, and it got out of control. The ancestor was saying that these things that we're talking about tonight, I say, is the ancestor moving to another level, bringing us to an opening where we can understand that even our religion have not freed us.
How do we get free, Bishop? How do we get free? How do we free ourselves?
The ancestor said that in a period of time that is all predicated on lies. And people that don't want to be free is some that's still earthbound, and they're not spiritual. They don't want to give up the body. And he said those that have gave up the body understand now how to be free. More teaching got to be brought out, and it got to be taught to a level where you say, well, I don't want to be free. Now, I ain't talking about your body. You ought to change, but your mind is still under change. Because if women still putting weave in their hair, getting fingernails, getting the nails polished, they still caught up in their mind is a slavery mentality when they don't understand that they're beautiful and black like they are. If you say, I got to go get my nails done, I got to go get a weave in my hair, that means that you don't understand your beauty. So when men begin to emulate European men and do what they do and try to be with them, they have laws, so they don't want to break out. So some going to be left behind. Okay, but those that can make the transition, they will be able to learn and know. And the ancestors, one of the biggest hope is the religion that got us fighting among each other. The different denominations, which was man-made. See, in Africa, they didn't have all them different religions. They had different tribes, but they had the same. They worship God, the sun god Ra. Okay, they always deal with the spirit God. They dealt with the ancestry. Okay, Ashango. Okay, Ogun. Okay, So they dealt with the spirit entities. So when you get involved in the spirit, it gives you a step back from what you've been taught in the European theology. So you're going to have to study African theology. And when you start to look at that, it's a whole different theology, because it carries you right back to Egypt. The Jews in Egypt. If you're Indian, Egypt. If you Chinese, it carries you back to Egypt. Buddha, back to Egypt. So all religions flow from the Nile. So the ancestors.
Do we have to go back? Do we have to forget about the religion?
Now, what I'm saying, going back mentally, going back with a book, when you read books, when you begin to read, you'll see where there's some stuff missing.
Yeah, stuff missing. But do we still, for people that got embrace Jesus and whatever, Buddha, whatever, do we forget about that and just go backwards, or do we can put it all together? What do we do? You
can't put it together, because if before Jesus came on the site that they would worship Jesus before he come, how can you worship Jesus and then he be born and then you worship him again?
Okay.
Now, what I'm saying, when you get off into the theology, you're going to get off into psychology, then you're going to get off into economics. So Christianity is a big economic money maker. See, if the churches close down tomorrow, people stop paying the tithes, stop getting offering, and who owns all the land? Who owns more land than anybody in the country? The churches. They own more property all over the world. Now, where that stem from? You got to go back. You got to go back to Rome. You got to go back to Egypt. Then you go back to the Egyptian. Then you got to go back to the deities. Then you go back to Greece. When you go back to Greece, you see where all that homosexual stuff come in at. That wasn't over in Africa. They was doing man to man over in Greece. So when you deal with the psychology that we survived because we took theology and made psychology out of it and saved us, and we still float, we still ain't where we ought to be, because you got religious entertainers, it become a show. It become how many thousand I can get in my show for this Sunday morning. What word said, but after the fact, after the mega churches, where do you go? If it was what it's supposed to be, people wouldn't be hungry in Chicago or Detroit, around the world. That would be a better plan to feed and clothe people and house people. So it's a religious entertainment thing, and they know that bringing you from Africa, you were spiritual people. So you embrace that theology until, and them that wouldn't embrace it go to jail and get killed. Okay? So the ancestors, that the 6 million that jumped off the ship, they came in the spirit. And they came and watched and seen and went back and told. Now, when I say travel in the spirit, let me tell you something. The storms, if you notice how they travel fast. They all start from the Nile. If you investigate the storms, they always start from Africa and come over here. If you check all the storms, where they come from? They come from the ocean. The water mix get hot, and where it come from? It comes from those countries where the people say. So I feel that's the ancestry coming back, keeping us alert, and those that came over here to keep you woke to what's going on. So what I'm saying, the ancestry is still moving to clear our minds, where we might be able to be able to do what we need to do. So what I'm saying, I believe in God. I believe in the universe. I believe in Allah. Okay, I believe in God. So, but when somebody done tainted, if somebody done tainted the theology, you got to use psychology to get out of it, because you will put in it theology supposed to help you back and keep you from growing. But you took the theology, which our ancestors took the theology, worked through it, went to jail, and did what they do, and did survive. So tonight, we're standing on the back of our ancestry. We're standing on the back of those that was in slavery, those that was hung down in Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, those that was burnt at the stake because of racism, because people didn't understand who we were, but they called us black, they called us devils, but they understand we was the spiritual people of God. See? So if you got it twisted, if you know that you are a black woman, and black don't mean black, it means that you are a pure woman. Now, if you are a black man, it don't mean black in color, but you are the original man. Being the original man, you have the call of the universe that you can dictate to. And the ancestors understood the stars, the moon. They understood that they couldn't die. They could leave the body, but they couldn't die. Oh, I know this heavy. And we still out in we're going to die. Hey, the ancestors understood they couldn't die. Them that admitted suicide, they was leaving, they left this body to be in the spirit to watch the others that was taken over to America. Do you understand what I'm saying? We haven't reached the level of making transition, of being to do astral travel. Okay? Now, they weren't trying to get back in this body because they understood, they was taught how to leave the body and how to move into animals. Now, some of the Native Americans, they can see through eagles. They can see through deer. That's what our ancestors was doing. So them that jumped over that mid suicide, 6 million committed suicide, didn't want to come to America physically, but they came spiritually. And once they got their information, they come back to the high priest and the kings here in meditation and told them what it was. We had people, we had one group of Africans could fly. Yeah. We had other group of Africans there was able to pass any test and able to disappear. See, this is. Have you heard of some of these religions? If the Africans, if you participate in some of that voodoo or the old ancient. Don't call it voodoo. You don't call it. You call it spiritual worshiping. You see, voodoo means the working of spirits. Let's get it straight. So people, when they say voodoo to blacks, they run. Oh, I've been voodoo. It's the working of the spirits. And our ancestors worked the spirit. They could fly. They could disappear. Yeah. See, this is something. But Bishop, what I'm trying to say, here in America, they frown on that because it's the devil. Because the European taught them that was of the devil. Well, see, wait a minute. The Bible speaks at such a. But hold it. Let's go. Let me say it again. The Europeans taught them that was the devil. Now let's deal with that. The ancestors told us that when you get ready, okay, when you said the Bible, we're going back to the people that wrote the Bible and the people that put so much in the Bible and took so much out. Now, was it Constantine? Yes, that's who you're talking about. And then if you notice, all women in the Bible got a low position. They not got a high position because you was dealing with homosexual. You were dealing with child molesters. That didn't come from Africa. That was the theology gave to us when we got here. But the ancestry wouldn't let us take it. They took theology and made psychology out of it. That's where we at today. Because we wouldn't be in college, we wouldn't be in the university, we wouldn't be professors and teachers if we had stayed with the theology that they gave us, we'd have been still in slavery. But
I want to ask you a question. Why would Constantine create the Bible to make frown on those things?
The Bible, he put the Bible together to control.
That's what I want to know. That's what
it was put together. Okay, you got slaves coming from Africa that is spiritual. They prophets. They got gifts. They got natural gifts. I got to make a theology up to hold them at bay. So the ancestors said this was made up for you. Okay, a lot of people got caught up in it. Lots of whites got caught up in it, but it was made for you. Do what?
Yeah.
To enslave you, to lock you in, to make you superstitious, to make you fight each other. This is what's in the Willie Lynch letter. The Willie Lynch letter was to keep you looking ugly, not loving each other, make the black and the yellow fight. And it did that for so many years, but that was a plan. Now, when I tell you that theology was a plan, and it was well thought out, and it dropped it on us, but the theology that they gave us, we made psychology out of it and moved to another level. So the way we talking tonight is because we moved out of the theology, we moved into the psychology point that said, this don't make any sense. It's not real. Okay? Now, what I'm saying is some people been so programmed, they don't want the truth. They don't want to know that, Christianity, they don't want to know that Christianity is a young religion. They don't want to know that Islam is a young religion. They don't want to know that Jesus might be a myth. They don't want to know that Muhammad might be a myth. They don't want to know that. So you got to condition people to understand this is part of slavery of the mind. The ancestor told me that. It blew my mind. I said, wait a minute. Why can't you call on your ancestry?
Yeah.
How come you can't call on your great-grandma and your mama?
Well, Bishop, when you're talking, you're telling me about a physical enslavement, a mental enslavement, but guess what you're also explaining? You're explaining a spiritual enslavement.
A spiritual enslavement, that's right.
Because you're telling me that our forefathers were able to fly and do all these supernatural things that we can't do, that most of them are not doing now.
We can't do it.
That Constantine not just physically helped enslave us physically or mentally, but he's also enslaved our spiritual power.
That's right. Our power been taken. We was able to fly. We was able to.
So we've been hoodwinked.
We've been hoodwinked, fooled, and tricked, and some are still taking it. And somebody said, well, Bishop is crazy. What are you talking about? But I'm saying, what happened to us right now, where we are just about extinct, because they have locked us physically, mentally, and spiritually. And
that's the piece, spiritually.
And that's what's happening. So if your ancestors could fly, and you can't fly, they could disappear. They could appear and disappear. They was able to make potions up. You come out the virus, you have to go to no hospital. Just right there on the earth, they could make potions up to get rid of that. And the spiritual doctors could come in and clear that stuff overnight. But because of the theology, and it moved us to a psychology of being dependent on somebody don't know.
Yeah.
See, in Egypt, we had medicine doctors that was could do surgery, do all of that.
Yeah.
And they still trying to figure out how the pyramids was made. Okay?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, we still caught up in theology. And as long as we stay caught up in theology, we're going to stay in slavery.
How have you see our spiritual awakening? We're physically free now. We're physically free, and some of us are still mentally dead. But what about our spiritual powers, our spiritual awakening? We need to be awoken spiritually to who we are as a spiritual being living in the
there's an ark of the covenant in us, and it's going to be woken. It's going to wake up when
That's what I want to hear.
When the earthquake come, and when that it's an earthquake coming, and it's a volcano. It's going to be, and it's going to be 3 and 3. That's gonna when the ash come up, and it's gonna erupt all over the world, not just in the world, because we still got fallen. See, when you started looking at theology, you started looking at myths. You know, just like you started looking at Greek mythology. It's the same kind of stuff that's been given to us. We're not dealing with our deities. We're not dealing with our ancestors. So you got to understand, you got some deities, some ancestors that is spiritual enough to tear the walls down, and you can be healed. The melanin in you already, 2014, it's been a healing going on the inside. Your melanin been strong, your heart been strong. You right now, you are a different woman than you was last year. See, I am a different man than I was 2 years ago because the DNA, what the ancestors did, that's why you had cold weather, you have an early weather, because the planet is changing. We're getting ready to go into a different mode. So some people are going to be free, and those ancestors is getting ready to make a change. So when I travel into the spirit world, it blew my mind that I had so many spirits that was around me that was just like live. I said, good God. And they was talking, they was giving information. And they was just saying that all this other stuff got to come down for the real to come up. You understand what I'm saying? So what we being taught in grammar school, it's going to change.
Got to change.
It got to change. And see, our ancestors is pushing it for it to change. If you don't know that this country belongs to you because you built it, your ancestors built it. So it's something wrong when you got 95% of black males in jail. I don't care what they did. You can set a law for people to go to jail to drink water. See, so what I'm saying, the law is made up to hold us at physical base, but spiritually, the mindset is holding us, but it's breaking it loose. Now, our women that is so caught up with the European style, and that's part of it, that if you ask any woman, don't get her nails done, don't get a pedicure, don't buy a weed, they would say, you crazy. They got a certain look that they want to look. Even African women's coming over from Africa don't even know who they are. When you don't know who you are, you don't know what to do. When you walk in a room, you don't know you beautiful, you black. You don't know that you beautiful from inside out, not outside in. You put all the dresses on, you want to all the suit you on. If you not clean, you're not clean. So the ancestor is teaching me little by little how to bring this thing to a head where people can see, because they blow my mind with some stuff about theology. I got to go back and check my books, and in the books that I got, it don't show what they told me. They giving me some stuff that I can't get in the books that downtown. I got to go to Egypt or go somewhere where somebody is a great professor can tell me what happened before Jesus, what happened before Muhammad. See what I'm saying? Because when you start looking at that, and then you look at what is the holy religion? Not Buddha. The holy religion is voodoo. Vudam, which is the working of the Spirit. That comes from Africa. And with that, it had power. Power to fly, power to leave the body, power to input your body into animals.
Well, Bishop, I want to hit on something that you were saying that you're going so fast here, but you said something about there's an ark that was going to help us go through this transition.
The ark.
Can you talk more about that ark?
The ark is the Ark of the Covenant. I thought it was somewhere setting up in Africa. It's in us. We got to activate it, and once it's activated, we all will be at that level to throw off this fake theology and be put on the psychology of God.
Bishop, right there, I'm telling you, that's a point right there. You just said, I ain't heard nobody talk about it. So that needs to be looked at spiritually, whatever you can do to open that up, because I also, 20-some years ago, information came to me about a spiritual ark that each and every individual has to know this, connect with this, in order to go through this change that we're going through now. I ain't never heard nobody else talk about that.
Well, we definitely got to go.
Just now.
We definitely got to go through that ark. That ark is a part of our existence. The part is our connection to God.
Yeah.
This is the connection back to God.
That's a serious missing piece, and I think we need to focus a little bit more on that, because people have no clue on it, because they're looking around, they're trying to find the physical ark.
It's not a physical. I was looking for a physical, but they told me it's a spiritual ark.
Okay.
And the spiritual ark comes from our ancestry. Yeah. It's got to do direct. It ain't even back in the Bible days. The spiritual ark come from inside, from directly from God in every, and it's a little bit. See, you got to understand, some of it is in the Bible, but it's so if you don't understand, if you're not spiritual minded, you won't get the thing. When he said the forehead in Revelation, I'm gonna read it in it said in the forehead. And he was talking about the Ark of the Covenant going to be on everybody.
Yeah, okay.
And it's somewhere in there. I can define it and read it, but it blows my mind, because the ancestors say it's there, but you got to dig. It's just like digging for gold, and you got rocks around it. You got to be able to discern what is real, what ain't real. Now, in Revelation, he said there will be up on your forehead a number man can't number, and you would know it by it being your forehead. That's he's talking about the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay.
It's gonna be on the person, not on the building, not in the building. Yeah. It's gonna be, and it's given from God to people, not to churches, to people.
Okay.
So what you got to do, all you got to do to earn it, it be you.
And how do we cultivate that? How do we cultivate
that? You cultivate that by understanding the real God, to understand who you are, where you are, what you're supposed to be doing. And it ain't no hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. It ain't that. Yeah. It's about serving the real God. And when you go east, west, north, and south, it's a breakdown going to come, because it said, it's the mark will be in the forehead.
Yeah.
Have you read that? In Revelation, I'm going to give you Revelation.
Yeah.
But it said the mark will be there, and it will be on everybody. You know, that means that, see, it's so much of stuff in secret. See, if you're not reading the Bible with a dishonest spirit, you're going to miss. Because they ain't going to tell you the real truth about what they're telling you. They're telling you something about this from yesterday, and he talking about right now. He talking about you. And you say, well, I'm waiting on Paul to come. No, he ain't talking about Paul. He talking about you. See, I'm waiting on Luke. Now he talking about you now. But if you don't discern that, see, like, when you see the 7 African powers, they got some other people there, but that's our religion. But they took it and changed it around. Okay? Now, when you can see through that, you know that them deities are spiritual deities come all the way from the belly of Africa, from the pit of Africa, and they work. Okay? So when I'm telling you, I had one grandmother was Pentecostal. I had another grandmother was spiritual, and her stuff worked just as well as the Pentecostal, much more, because she understood what the universe was doing. So what I'm telling you tonight, the planets, the ancestors, so the planets gonna make a change, and when the planet make a change, also that's gonna be a change in the mood of man. You know what I'm saying? That means that we're gonna take a change. Our mindset gonna change, and I ain't talking about the shooting, the killing. All of that is part of the mindset. And see, and lots of people don't understand what that means. That means that everything finna change for the ancestors to open up for us. So 2015 and 2016 and 17 gonna be a ride of change, theology-wise, economic-wise, and even to the point where things just gonna change automatically. Okay, I know we've been fighting Ferguson and fighting all this here. We had to wait till the ancestors to come and make a report back, and I think they'd have made the report back of what's going on in the world and in America. And if you find out, you'll see even what's going on with ISIS and all of that. That's a part of the ancestry watching and turning that round, because all that was steeped into European philosophy, okay, and all that moved in European philosophy, but it's steeped in economics. It's all about the money. We need $1 million to defeat this, and we need $1 trillion. This whole thing for the last 3 years been about economics. When you check out around the world, it's been wars and rumors of wars about oil, wars about rubber. Now we're having wars about economics right in America. See? So the ancestry is looking, and those that the ancestors can pick out that is spiritual, they're going to pull them up out of that. When they get up out of that, they're going to understand the Ark of the Covenant is with them. See, they looking for an Ark of the Covenant over there at Joe's Blow Church or First Baptist. It ain't there. It's in the man. It's in the woman. But you got to know how to activate it. And you can't activate it with the theology that's being taught to us now. It's not going to happen. So you got to leave this.
Ain't that why Jesus, in part, that Jesus said, "Greater is He that's in you than He is in the world."
Well,
he said that
now let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
He said there going to be greater things.
Well, let me tell you something. Now, what you're saying is true. Now, the way the Africans look at Jesus as their elder brother. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
They look at Jesus as a man from God, and I always said, you're a woman from God, I'm a man from God. So the same thing God gave to Jesus, He'll give to you. He'll give to anybody else, because we are from...
Bishop, they hijacked Jesus. They hijacked Jesus and made Him something He wasn't.
Yes.
That doesn't mean Jesus was a bad person. Jesus is real. But the thing is, they hijacked Him. Constantine hijacked Him.
Yes.
He was murdered, and then they created this whole scenario to control the people.
It's a man preaching in St. Louis. I don't know his name. He said, Jesus ain't coming back. I laughed at him, said that. The brother said, I got news for y'all. Jesus ain't coming back. and I forget his name, but I'm going to get his name. And he's from St. Louis. He's a Baptist preacher. But he said, I got news for you. He ain't coming back. And then he tells why. Okay? Because lots of stuff was built on myth.
Yeah.
See, so we got to deal with the myths. And we have to come out of that and deal with that in a special way.
Mhm.
I want to say Ashe to our ancestor, and I want to say to you, I feel that your mother, Ashe, go open doors up for you, and I feel that the next 3 weeks is
Yeah.
going to be entertaining for you. It's going to be doors open up for you, financial doors and doors that you got to make decisions, and the decision will help you rule other people's lives and go to a situation where you can help other folks. So crossing over will be a good thing for you because
Yeah.
I see a lot happening for you going into 2015,
Yeah.
and I'm just feeling that it's a lady coming to me on the left side of me, smiling because they keep doing what you're doing because it's gonna pay off after a while because it's some papers you got to sign and it's gonna be some money. I want to say this: there's some papers gonna sign, and it ain't talking about no little money. It's talking about $150,000 or more, but they want to give you some money to get started. I'm talking about this is coming from your ancestors pushing it. So my thing is for you, keep doing your sage and working, because it's coming. It's gonna come so fast. So I don't want you to have nervous breakdown. I want you to stay focused.
Yeah.
And as you stay focused, the best scripture in the Bible is Psalm 119, because it moved out of that Jesus thing, it moved into the universe thing all over. So when you read that, that's the most powerful scripture, 119, because it deals with so many isms and schizoids and mountain things. When it said that it's talking about it go from Jesus to God, and from God to the universe. You got to embrace the forces of the universe. That's let me tell you the forces: wind, water, fire, and air, and you. Okay, wind, water, fire, air, and you. That's 5 elements, ain't it? Wind, water, fire. Okay, and you.
Water, earth, and you.
Yeah, and earth. That's 5 elements.
Water, earth, and you.
See, you the last one because you embrace the wind, water, fire, and earth. And fire make you. So that's what make the Ark of the Covenant work. Good God Almighty. And then the spirit of Ra, which is the sun, that make it roll. So as we put this thing together, I'm doing it by spirit. I'm doing that spirit give to me. As spirit give it to me, I'm going to give it to the people where they can invest in it and open up. Because I'm excited about what God's going to put the soldiers together to go out and tell this news all over. And it's going to shut down some churches and make some people wake up to what is the realization of their life. Because they're in a dead theology. They're in a theology where they're not growing. They're in a theology where they're suffering. They're in a theology where they're in jail. See, they're in that theology. And that theology ain't working. So the ancestors are going to bring the new in.
Yeah.
Okay? It ain't given to a man. It's given to people. See? So you got to understand. It's given to people. So when you see, all of them got a piece of it. But they're not putting it all together for the whole. This group got a piece.
They're not putting it together.
Once it come all together, that's why the rising gonna come, the anointing gonna come, the breakthrough gonna come, because it's gonna come together, and it's gonna come together for people that's been suffering, and then it's gonna resurrect those ancestors that you think is dead. They ain't dead. They invisible.
Yeah.
See, those that jumped over the cliff, jumped off ship, they didn't never die. They moving in the spirit realm. They demanded the winds, the water, the air, the fire. They demanding all that.
Yeah.
They're around the world. And it blew my mind when I know that we had people that could fly. without an airplane. We had people that could be invisible. We had people that had potions and can fix things up, and they had the melanin in there to do it. But you are not taught that. You're taught that you are low. You're taught that you are unsuccessful. You're uneducated. But we didn't need education. We was already educated. When we got over here, we know.
Well, I think that's why subconsciously white people do fear black men, because they fear what we used to do.
Well, they know what we used to do. See, everything that we did, we could do over again once knowledge. If I keep you locked up and locked out and blind, you don't know who you are. But once you know who you are, you can speak some things, it's going to happen. See, the pyramid wasn't built, it was spoke into place. That scared people. When I said, Brick, I want you to go here. I said and meditate and bricks come together. And this is some heavy stuff. We had people could sit and meditate and gravitate and move things. That come from us. They trying to learn how to meditate. We've been meditating all our life. We just don't know. See, when those people jumped off the ship and come to America and come back, who do you think they come back to? They come back to the high priest. They come back to the king and the princess. They came back to the witch doctors and the voodoo doctors, the spirit worship. They come back to them and told them, and they sit and talk like I'm talking to you. And then after they got through, they got a charge. Go out and do this. Over the world. Not just, they went over the world. So this is happening all over. So this is some of the stuff that we're looking to happen. Okay? So it's important for you, as a woman, as a man, to understand your relationship with God. Don't go. It is not in a Baptist church. It's not in the Catholic church. It's not in the Pentecostal church. It's not in the mosque. It's in you and God. See, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It did say the God. It said the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now the ancestors told me, and it blew my mind. When they told me this, they said, I said the Trinity. They said, oh, and they laughed. You talking about the Trinity? Let me tell you what the Trinity is. Now, this is what the ancestors told me. I said, the Father, Son, and they looked at me and laughed. They said, the Son, God, and Mary, which is woman. That's the Trinity. That's family. A woman, a man, and God. Ain't that Trinity?
Yeah.
It broke that. See how it's took out of context? Now, out of context, you said Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
The Son is the baby. The Father is God. And the woman. The Spirit. See, that's why the devil is so busy with this homosexual stuff.
Yeah.
The Trinity is the family.
Yeah.
Think about it. When they told me that, I laughed. They laughed at me. I said, Father, Son, they looked at me and said, no. Father, Son. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And God. So my whole theology got messed up. I'm still trying to recollect what they said. So that messed your theology when you said Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Yes. Woman had been put down. Okay?
Yeah.
So how do you mess somebody's mind up? The Father, the Son is the same. Okay? Let's take it this way. The Son is from the mama. The mama is from God, and God all. So it's a Trinity.
Yeah.
That's three.
Yeah.
So it takes three. That's mean I'm saying that when you go into theology, it makes sense, but you got to make sense out of it. See,
it needs to make sense.
It makes sense when you pray about it. When I say Father, Son, Holy Spirit, that sounds all right. But when I say Son, Mama, and God. That's the Trinity. We all are one because we all stimulate from God.
Yeah.
So that's the Trinity.
Yeah.
See, that's what's been missing from us.
Yeah.
See, the men's been throwing the woman away. Been throwing the kids away.
They want to camouflage it with the spirit.
Thank you.
They said the Father, Son, and the Spirit. They want to camouflage the female with the spirit.
But they can't do it because the female is the spirit and all of that. Thank you. They camouflage it with the spirit when it's already the spirit.
Exactly.
See?
Well, there's some deep,
the ancestor is deep stuff. This deep stuff, I mean, it's something for you to say, it's enough to make a man holler. Now, throw up your, Mom gets to make your hand holler, throw up your hand. Huh? What's going on? So, you know, it's just like, this boy trying to steal Marvin Gaye's song. Marvin Gaye's spirit and the ancestor spirit went to it so quick it scared him. That's how you know that. This is my beat. I made this beat. You can't take an African beat and make a European beat out of it. Huh? But you see what I'm saying? You know what that told me? They've been stealing all the time. But they got caught stealing.
Yeah.
If I steal something that you make up, I might steal it, but I can't control it.
Yeah. Because
I don't know what you do. I don't know what you did to make it. See, the boy stole the beat from Marvin Gaye, but he couldn't master the beat. You know what I'm saying? He even had the white suit on lacking, but he couldn't master that because the ancestor wouldn't let him be happy. See, and he might commit suicide. He don't know what the consequence is messing with people's stuff. Just like when they went in the tomb and got all those things out of there, all them people dead. Everyone that got King Tut and got all that stuff from Egypt from the tomb, every one of them died a strange death. But that was the curse put on it. So if anybody touches stuff, there'll be a curse on them and their family. And everyone that was at that tomb that handled that stuff, they dead. See, so it's you got to understand there's spiritual rituals that come from the ancestor. And we've been running from them. We should be running to them.
Yeah.
See, and our problem is we're so Americanized and Europeanized, we forget who we are.
Yeah.
See, and that's what's wrong with me, you, and everybody. But we got to reboot up. We got to reboot ourselves up and look at this thing from another angle and understand, God, what I need to do to be successful to my people. It ain't about getting your hair curled. It ain't about driving a Rolls Royce or Mercedes. It ain't about that. It's about going to the Spirit, calling the ancestors, where they can move to open up doors. It's port doors that's closed up. We can't open because we're not living right to open them up.
Right.
We ain't got the energy because we too caught up with European stuff. Okay?
Yeah. Well, we got to get it, Bishop. We got to get it.
We got to turn it around.
We got the power.
We got the power, but we have to.
Within us.
We got the power, but how many people know? They don't know that they got the power of the ancestors within them, and they don't know how to work it. So it's important for them to learn how to work it.
Well, Bishop, just like anything else, there's always one person that got to take the first step. 1, 2, 3, 7 people got to take the first step. Somebody got to come forward and take the first step.
Well, you're right.
Process. So I think the time is now. The time is right.
Yeah, I feel the time is now, and the time is right for us to move to the next level.
Yeah.
To take this step where we can be the men and women we ought to be able to master the evil that's trying to take over. But I feel that the ancestors are going to keep us up and running and doing a good job.
That's right.
I feel that.
I do.
I feel that'll work. For 2015, 2016, 2017, even to 2018 to 2020, it's some things going to take place that's going to blow your mind. It's some things going to take place like you got to understand. God has got certain people, they can't go nowhere. They can't leave the planet right now. They got to work through this stuff. You got prophets that you don't know about going to step up. You got diseases that prophets can stop. You got diseases coming to clear the way. It's some people going to die, but they got to die a dead death. But them people that died, jump off the ship, they died a spiritual death because they understand how to master the spirit. They weren't tampered with. See, but our spirit been tampered with. Our mind, our body, our covenant been tampered with. See, our ancestor covenant ain't been tampered with. If the lights get cut off now, everybody messed up. And I told them, get you some generators because we're going to have some blackouts. You know, I told them that last year. But I'm saying they can't deal with the drama that God's going to bring this opening. Okay? So when you can see a man flying and he ain't got nothing on him, they're going to say you drunk. If you say, I seen a man flying, he ain't no pack, no nothing on him. See what I'm saying? This is the stuff that I'm talking about going to be happening. And I just feel that when you stay prayerful, God's going to bring it. So you get your notebook and write this, or get your tape recorder and tape it because it's going to be part of the puzzle because he might give it to somebody in North Carolina, the rest of it. Somebody might have it over in England. Somebody might have it down in Mississippi. And once they all come together, it's a whole puzzle. Then we know where to go. See,
I believe that. See, I believe that.
Because the ancestors said that it got to come together like that in order to break things down and do what needs to be done. So I just...
I'm going to be on the alert. I'm going to be on the alert.
And then we're gonna do a Bible search, and I'm gonna take some people and we're gonna get the Bible, and we're gonna go over the Bible. We're gonna have the other books from Egypt, the book that was taken out, why they was taken out, and then you'll see it's psychology. I can deal with you more if I got you on your knees.
Bottom line, Bishop, most white folks know about Constantine, but Bishop, most black folks don't know about Constantine and what he did in the Council of Nicaea.
No, they don't even know.
They don't have no clue. I think that needs to really be brought out.
Well, we got to do
that's the beginning.
We got to do a seminar on that and who is the man, where he come from, and what made him. You know, we had a black pharaoh. When Alexander the Great took over there, he was the first pharaoh. He wanted to make himself a god. They said, we can't make you no god because all the rest of them, they was God. See what I'm saying? See, this blow your mind. When Alexander the Great took over Egypt, they had the first European as the king. He wanted to make himself a god. And the Egyptian told him, we can't make you a god because we already gods. Do you understand what I'm saying? He wanted to make himself a god. They told him, we can't make you no god. And it's in the book. So we got to read up on all that. And once you read up on it, you be saying, like so many others, see, that the ancestors are already here. You waiting on Jesus to come, but the ancestors are already here. They're among you. The brother, the other brother, the other sister. So there's lots of things that we got to do that the ancestors are giving us information that they weren't given. But now they're letting it flow out. So it must be time for us to receive it. It's some more people that know about the Ark of the Covenant, but they don't really know. They just heard about it. But we're gonna deal with it and jump into it, open it up, dissect it, and deal with it, where we can get some people that understand what's going on. Ashe.
Yes, Lord. Thank you.
We're going to do crossing over on Blog Talk Radio tonight from 11 to 12. If you can listen to that. Right now I'm on YouTube. I'm doing this on YouTube. And it's go to DustyAbrahamYellowsite.com. You can call me at 773-629-0003. That's Bishop Turner. I'm on YouTube, and you can go to my post office box, 289097, Chicago, Illinois, 60628. God bless you. I'm glad to have you with me tonight. And thank you, Bright Star.